Welcome back, Art 100. You know what time it is. It's time for art instruction. This project is project number 5. You guys have been studying sculpture. What it is, how you make it. And I noticed the book starts out with a really interesting quote. A great sculpture can roll down a hill without breaking. That's what Michelangelo said. So, do you think he was joking? I hope so. Your book didn't talk about another form of sculpture called papercraft, or creating a sculpture with papers. Very popular now, different types. You can Google it on the internet. So your lesson, you're going to put together little papercraft. And I'll show you how to do that in just a minute. But I want to tell you how I first learned about sculpture, although I didn't know that's what it was. I didn't grow up around a museum. Not a whole lot of us do. If you grow up in eastern Kentucky or small towns. But when I was a kid, I got a gift. It was a toy. It was one of these. But I was fascinated by this. But in my mind, it's also a sculpture. Someone sculpted this, not out of plastic, but they sculpted it out of clay, and a cast was made. To me, when I saw this as a child, I was mesmerized. We're talking about papercraft. You can download this from Blackboard. You can download it in color or black and white. I know sometimes you have a color printer, sometimes you don't, or sometimes you're out of colored ink, which happens to me all the time. Now this is a rather simple paper sculpture. You can choose any one that you want to. If you look up papercraft, you'll find them. They are all over. One of my favorites is this little guy. We saw it in the video earlier. This is from Japan. It's fully articulated. But don't think that you'll make this in 30 minutes. There are a lot of moving parts, and it takes a while. Some of the tools you'll need. For this one, you can use scissors. You can use big scissors, small scissors. A lot of artists will use X-Acto blades and little rulers and special tools. If you want your sculpture to be more durable, you can print it on cardstock. This one was printed on cardstock, but regular paper is fine. Okay, it's time to cut out your sculpture. So it's flat now. Right? It's 2-dimensional, but you're going to turn it into 3 dimensions. So you can use scissors to cut around the black edge, the black lines. Right? That's just one way to do it. Or you can use a ruler and an X-Acto blade right here, if you prefer. Sometimes you can get crisper lines, especially in the tight corners. And if you're using cardstock, and you happen to have an X-Acto blade, you can use it. And it keeps it nice and straight. And you notice where you see the dotted lines? The dotted lines mean that's where you fold it. So don't cut on the dotted lines. Those are for later, for folding. Okay, you've got your papercraft cut out. And remember, looking at the top, you have 2 slits here. I'll use an X-Acto blade to slice them. So you've got both parts of your sculpture, your papercraft cut out. Now you begin folding. depending on if you have cut it out of regular paper or cardstock. Regular paper is easy to fold. Now, some paper craft artists will use a ruler to line it up so they get a good crisp line. And some artists will use a burnishing tool, like a bone tool, to kind of burnish the edges and get a nice crisp line. So begin. You can do it either way. You can begin folding along the dotted lines until you're ready for the next step. Okay, you've made all the folds on your paper craft. Next step is attaching the pieces together. You can use glue, Elmer's glue. A lot of paper craft artists will use archival glue, but you can use double-sided tape, Elmer's glue, whatever you need to stick it together. Alright, a few drops of glue. On the white areas are what you're gluing. You know, might have to hold it together for a few seconds till it adheres. Right. Don't forget your center fold. Keep gluing. Now, closing the box can be a little tricky, but now I've got mine. Yeah. And if you've not cut everything out properly, it won't. Might be a little loose. Alright, so the last step is the hat for this little fella. Already made your slits. Okay. Ta-da! Now you have a three-dimensional sculpture. It was 2D, now it's 3D. You can move around it. Now what I need to do is take this outside and see if I can roll it down a hill without breaking. According to Michelangelo, if I can do that, this will be a great sculpture. I'm betting I can. Alright, see you next time.